Thanks for tuning in to Armor of God again, everybody, and thanks to all of you who continue to support the works on this channel. Now, just a quick update. I'll be interviewing Father Martins later this week, so hopefully I'll be able to ask a lot of good, interesting questions. And for this video, I'm going to share 2 clips from my recent interview with Father Winston, and I asked him about this. You remember I shared this with you a few weeks ago where she said this?
Well, when you go to the cemetery, you could pick up spirits.
Like how?
And they could follow you home. Like if you're not, in the Middle East, oftentimes they will tell you to cover your head in the cemetery or just be very careful in the cemetery because the jinn live there, and they inhabit that area, specific jinn. The ghouls, they say.
What is it? Say it.
The ghoul, the term ghoul in English?
No.
You never heard the term ghoul?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so I'm assuming it came from the Arabic term ghul,
Okay.
which is a jinn, and they eat the flesh of the dead, they say. So a lot of people in the Middle East, they are very careful when they go into a cemetery because you can go in, and if you're not careful, if a jinn takes a liking to you, they can attach to you. And not just the jinn, I mean, we're not the only ones that believe that way. Like, Haitians believe that way. A lot of people, or if you go in there and you're very disrespectful. Like, a friend of mine went to Julie, shout out Julie, Magical Witch. She went to Salem and she saw a bunch of kids taking stuff from the gravestones. And she let them have it. She's like, what are you doing? That is like the ultimate disrespect. And that is going to get you messed up.
Now, I then asked Father Winston if this is true, and this was his answer. Listen to this.
Okay. So this is how we view it in the Ministry of Spiritual Liberation and Exorcism. The evil spirits that may be in a particular place, like a secular cemetery, they're there because of who is buried in a particular place. So the spirit that was in control of the person when he was alive is attracted still to the body that it used to influence. So if there's somebody there, that there's a dead there that used to live an immoral life, a sinful life, then the spirit remains there. That's how we see it. Now, a vulnerable person can be a child, a teenager, or an adult, man or woman, and including animals as well, vulnerable ones who visit these places. And they're vulnerable because something unholy work was done on them. What do I mean by that? Let's say protected by the grace of the Holy Spirit, by sanctifying grace, etc. But you have or been exposed to occult practices. Therefore, spirits may attach to you. And so when you visit a cemetery, the spirits prefer to go to a living person that they can influence rather than stay in a place where they cannot do anything anymore. Analogically, or the same thing happens when in a place, haunted place. What happened in the haunted place? Why is it haunted? Why is a spirit there in that place? Or an accident prone place. Why is it accident prone? And you say because the construction, the turf. But why always there? There's always death occurring there. Now, one can surmise, and even occultists claim this, that the spirits become, as it were, attached to the place. Because something hideous occurred there. So if it's always death, then there's a spirit of death there in that place. That is why in a Catholic understanding, that area needs to be delivered or prayed over. In the Philippines, whenever accidents happen in a particular area, and that always happens, the people would now call a priest. Or if they will not call a priest, they would call a shaman or faith healer to do rituals there, and in order to purify it. Because that is the belief. Now, here in this context, yes, occultists, witches, Satanists may perform occult activities or satanic activities in a cemetery because they sense that there is a presence there that they can conjure and control. It's not the spirit of the departed. It's not the spirit of the departed, but it is a spirit of evil that may have been attached to the person when he was still alive.
And then the other thing I asked him about is when people perform all kinds of occult activities at the cemetery, does this mean the exorcists have to continuously exorcise the place? And here's the example I shared with him during the interview.
Brujos, malvivientes, asesinos, violadores, o sea, que hay de todo.
De todo. De todo, sí, de todo.
Sí, sí. Un día me platicó un camarada que les daba por entrar a rezar, a jugar a Ouija.
Aquí al panteón.
Allá de aquel lado donde te digo, en aquel pasillo. Una vez llegó una señora, no me la vas a creer. ¡Ya, señora! Y luego me dice, oiga, ¿usted trabaja aquí? Le digo, sí, señora, ¿se le ofrece algo? Dice, oiga, y luego voltea así por todo lado. Dice, nomás acá entre no, dice. Pero yo ando buscando tierra, pero de que sea alguien que hayan matado.
Va buscando, ¿aquí enterraron a fulano?
Le digo, pero, doña, ¿y eso para qué? ¿Va a ser una maldad o qué? Dice, ay, doña, es que tengo una vecina que no aguante, que... Doña, ¿y a poco? Con todo respeto, le digo, ¿pero a poco usted cree en esas mamadas? Le digo, porque yo tengo una vecina, le digo, y diario uso botas de estas. Me llevo la tierra y la sacudo, le dije, no se va.
Okay. So Catholic cemeteries, I have to put a distinction. Public cemeteries, secular cemeteries, and Catholic cemeteries. So Catholic cemeteries are consecrated places. They are made holy by the church consecration of the place. There is a Filipino word taken from Spanish that says Campo Santo, the camp of the saints. No? And the Campo Santo is actually the Catholic cemetery. And when things are being done there that are not according to the intention of the church, they do witchcraft. It's possible that they do witchcraft, whatever. It does not destroy the sacredness of the place because it is the church that guarantees the holiness of the place. Okay? Now, public cemeteries are a different kind of breed. It admits non-Catholics, non-Christians, atheists, and all sorts of realms. And therefore, this is where witches would oftentimes do their conjuring of spirits. In Catholic cemeteries, if witches do it, it is to profane the sanctity of the place. But they cannot really profane it because it's the church that guarantees its holiness. And therefore, the church can continue to use the place and bless the dead there, etc., etc., etc. And this is what we often do during November 1 and November 2 in Catholic cemeteries. We do not, yes, at least in the Philippines, okay? At least in the Philippines, I know that the church also, especially the parish, would hold masses in the memorial parks for the sake of the people who are there, who may be Catholics and want the tombs of their beloved ones to be blessed during November 1 and November 2, and of course to remember the faithful departed. But the place itself is secular. So when you say that witches use the place for conjuration of spirits, that's what happens to the place. Well, it's because it's not intended to be a sacred space the way we Catholics understand sacred space. Because we Catholics understand the communion of the saints in a manner, the saints in heaven, the saints in purgatory, and us, the living here on earth. The church triumphant, the church suffering, and the church militant. So that is our worldview. But in secular cemeteries, that is not the worldview. It's just a place for the dead, period. So when somebody performs an occult activity there, it is because it's already, to use the word, it's already, it's a place, yeah, it's already exposed. It's not a place that is sacred from the very beginning.
Well, thanks for taking a little bit of your time to be here with us. And as always, I hope all of you have learned a great deal from this one. And remember that, if there's any feedback or suggestion, please don't hesitate to let me know in the comments below. And if you like what we do, please consider supporting us on Patreon or PayPal. And thank you so much to all of you who are supporting the works here on Patreon and PayPal.